I'm not doing this video to look for sympathy or to look for anything. This video has been long overdue, and I feel like this is the right time for me to do this video. Hopefully, I don't break down. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is Time with First Lady. Today's video is a video very dear to my heart because it's something I've been through and I've never spoken about, especially on this channel, and this is my very first time talking about it. As you can see, maybe the title would give you a glimpse of what I'm about to talk about. Pregnant at 15, mother at 16. I'm going to try and give you a vivid account of what happened and try to tell you how I felt. I'll probably give you some advice because I've lived it. So I'll try not to mess up my makeup because it took time to do. I'll try not to cry. But this video, I had to talk to my daughter about it to see if she was okay before I filmed this video. And since she gave me the green light, well, here goes nothing. So my mom had traveled to the States. At that point, I had an aunt, my house helps, my siblings, all that. I'm sorry for the dog. It's my neighbor's dog. So she got back, and then I kept on telling her that, oh, I haven't seen my period. I don't know why I haven't seen my period. And she was like, well, you just started your period, so maybe that's the reason why. Took me to a doctor, and then the doctor was like, maybe it's because I just started my period. It will need time to adjust and all those things. So after a couple of months, still my period hadn't come. So my mom spoke to somebody, and the person recommended a hospital. So they took me to that hospital, and the doctor was asked me to drink a whole bottle of water and asked me to go and lie down. So after drinking my water, the lady asked me to lie down. They put the thing on my stomach, and she was like, oh, it's a girl. And I was like, what is a girl? And she was like, you're 6 months pregnant. I said, what? I'm 6 months pregnant. I haven't had sex. How can I be 6 months pregnant? I just kept quiet. I just wanted her to be over and done with. She cleaned up the gel and everything, gave me the pictures. I think the person downstairs had already gotten the results because they also took my urine. When I go home, it was like a quiet drive with whoever I went with. When I go home, my mom was like, say you're pregnant, so who is responsible? And I was like, mommy, I haven't had sex, so I don't understand why the doctor is saying I'm pregnant. And he said, you haven't had sex. I said, yes. You haven't had sex. I said, yes. So my mom I could see she was very angry. She was disappointed, but she was keeping her emotions in check. So the next day, she took me to herself to another doctor, which is our family doctor. So the doctor asked me to lie down. Then he started checking my down there, and that's what comes sit down. So I went to sit down. He was like, well, she's pregnant, but I can still see her hymen. Then her mother was like, you can still see her hymen. And the man said yes. Mind you, this man took care of my mom when my mom had all her children. Most of my aunties gave birth. Even my mom had me. This man practically helped my mom deliver me. So, yeah. Then the man said her hymen is still there. So, how did it happen? So then I sat down trying to think so hard. And then I remember that my boyfriend at that time he wanted to have sex with me, and he was brushing, and then I told him like he should stop because it hurts. I didn't know that the, even brushing could get you pregnant because at that time I was really, really naive. So we got home. My mom didn't speak to me for a couple of days because she's probably thinking about a lot. And she called a couple of her friends, and I think she told them, and the thing spread like wildfire. Because my grandpa is very popular in Makola, so my mom too is also popular. So the whole thing, hence the wildfire. My When my mom found out I was pregnant, she told her siblings. Some of them wanted me to have an abortion because she said I'm about to disgrace the family. Honestly, at that point, nobody really asked me what I wanted. But honestly speaking, I don't think I would have known what I wanted even if they had asked me. So now I was 6 months pregnant. Now I know. At that point, I didn't know, so my stomach was just normal size. The moment I knew that I was 6 months pregnant, my stomach started protruding. So I started making sure that when I go to school, nobody notices it. But there was this one teacher, chemistry teacher. He was like, "Hey, are you pregnant?" I said, "Me pregnant? No, I'm just really, really sick, and I want to really write the exam so I can hurry up and go and have a surgery because I have a surgery coming up." So I started feeling bad for me. Oh, I'm so sorry. All those things. I was taking my drugs, and some of these pregnancy drugs, they make you feel sleepy. So um, it was very difficult for me when I was in school because I didn't know what to expect. I was like basically a child having a child. And my mom said, "Well, you're gonna have this baby." So I had my baby. I wrote my exam, my final year exam, the national exam, and then I went home. So when I went home, I was there one time when a couple of friends came without calling me. So I told my brothers to hurry up and tell them that no, I'm not around because I don't want them to see me. Because at that point I felt like my brain was all over the place. I didn't know what to say. I felt like they're going to judge me and all those things. This video, I've asked my daughter about it before doing this video because I just wanted to make sure that she was okay with me doing this video. So these people left, and then fast forward, I had my child. Mind you, I was very, very popular in my school. So after having this child, my brother too was in that same school. So my brother went to school and told his friends that I've given birth to a baby girl and she's called Daniela. My brother already gave the child a name. He was just a kid. And because he told people, and then his my brother's mates also had older brothers who were my mates. The thing just spread. I started getting phone calls and all those things. And honestly, I didn't want it to spread because I had brothers in the school and I didn't want them to be stigmatized. I remember one time my brother came back home and told me that one teacher used the whole period to talk about teenage pregnancy, and everybody was looking at him because they knew that he was the reason why the topic was being discussed. That was how bad it was. And nobody really talks about the struggles of teenage mothers because if you are not physically, emotionally, psychologically inclined, depression could just hit you. Especially in my case when I didn't even really have sex. I felt into depression, and some of my family members decided not to have anything to do with me. It was just me and my mom and my siblings. And when I had my results came, I did so well and I had a good school. But I couldn't go to the school because um, I was breastfeeding and the school was outside Accra. I had to go to a different region to go to the school. So my mom looked for another school for me in Accra. So I used to go, my grandpa gave me a driver, I had a car, took me to school, brought me back. When I got back, took care of my baby. When I'm going to school, I live in my house help and then I go. It kept on like that. There was a day that my mom and her siblings had a visitor and I was taking care of my baby upstairs. We were living in a story building, so where they were sitting, they could really see if anybody was standing upstairs. So I stood up taking care of my baby, and a gentleman saw me with a child, and she was like, "Whose child is that?" And my auntie was like, "That's my mom. That is my child." And then the person made a comment, and that day I cried because I didn't see it coming. Like, I was just getting up to take care of my baby, and you're in my house, and you're being disrespectful. And my mom really couldn't say anything. My auntie just sat there smiling. They really couldn't say anything. So I just went back inside. And because it was just me, my mom, and my siblings, there were times when it was really difficult for me. Sometimes I, I always say that God blesses me in different ways because I wouldn't have made a different choice. I would have had her, honestly, because she's like a mini me. But like I said, nobody really talks about the sadness and then the heartbreaks that come with it. Because I was in school and I was a mom, and I had to be doing those two simultaneously. And I decided to really study hard because I wanted to go to university. I didn't want my baby to be a life sentence. My mom was like, "Well, you're going to go to university. You're going to go to school. I'm going to help you with your child. You're going to go to school. You're going to go to the university. If you want to do your master's, that's fine. But I'm going to help you till you get to the university." And she did. There were times when I used to get stigmatized, like when I'm taking my child to antenatal, and then the nurses will look at me in a particular kind of way. Yeah. And I practically had to do it alone. Like I had my mom, but I had to do it alone. You know, it was sad for me because in my heart, I didn't see myself falling victim. The negativity was a lot. Um, the negative energy, negative vibe, and I was always with my baby. And God being so good, Jazzy used to sleep at 6 a.m. and wake up at 6 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. And it helped me to be able to get ready for school. It helped me to study. It helped me to do my assignments and be prepared to go back to school. And after I had her, I went back to exercising, you know, because I used to be a sports girl. So I went back to exercising, jogging, cutting down on certain foods so that I can get back into a shape that even if you look at me, you wouldn't think that I've had a baby. So yeah, I'm doing my best not to bring out any tear because I don't regret having her because she has brought so much joy into my life, and I wouldn't exchange her for anything. What I can say is this: when people go like, "Oh, have the child, God will take care of you. Have the child, you'll be okay." You won't be okay. It will be tough. It will be difficult. You'll be stressed. For me, I was lucky to have my mom, my grandpa, and my siblings. But I don't know about you, you know? So um, make sure that before you start having sex or before you start getting to that kind of position, you have really researched more about it so that you don't find yourself wanting, you don't find yourself in my situation. Because I had my child, and even though I had help, it was difficult. Oh Lord, it was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult. A lot of people, when they came for my wedding, and we go like, "Oh, that's my daughter." You like, "You have a child?" Yes, I have a child. You know, I did my best to balance my life, my personal life, and my education and my petty business. I did my best to do that. What really hurt me in the process was when maybe you think that because this person is blood, the person is going to be there for you because you're thinking that you're in a situation that you didn't see coming and you didn't do intentionally. Even my mom had people not talk to her anymore because she allowed me have my child. And right now, those people, when they see Jazzy, they're always smiling and all those things. But I remember every single thing you said. You know, if a particular family member wanted to take me away from my child, yeah, what the person was like, the person is coming for me. My mom should have the child, and the person will come for me so that I won't live with the person. My mom said, "Hell no, it won't happen." That's the kind of mom I have, and I'm grateful that I have it. So my advice to you is, honestly speaking, these boyfriends or whatever don't really bring anything into your life, especially if you're 15, 16, 17, 18. Heck, even when you're 21, sometimes you don't even know what you want. But children as we are, sometimes we don't really understand because they don't explain to us why they're telling us to stay away from the opposite sex. And by the time you end up learning the reason why they're telling you to stay away, you may have already found yourself into my situation. Looking back at it, I feel I got pregnant because I was naive. I didn't know anything. The school I went to, we didn't really have sex education. That's how come I am really for sex education if it's properly regulated. Most of the time, we learned about these things from friends who were also kids. And it's scary because imagine what somebody else is teaching your kid at school. Um, I'm just glad that my mom didn't turn her back on me, you know, and I had a good support system at home. I remember my brothers had a really terrible time in school because they found out that I was pregnant and my brothers were suffering for what I caused. And to date, I'm sad about it because they didn't deserve to suffer for my mistakes, you know. So if you're here and you're a mom of a teenager, I feel it's the right time for you to have a conversation with your child. Let her understand what she'll get herself into. Let her understand everything about sex education. Speak to her about everything she would need because if you don't talk to her, her friends will talk to her. Teach her about good touch, bad touch. Teach her, let her be your daughter, but let her also be your friend. Let her be able to come to you and talk to you about basically anything and everything. In our parts of the world, we frown upon sex, especially if it's from a teenager. But you know that we teenagers are naive, and most of the time we really want to know certain things. And by the time we realize that we've created a mess for ourselves, you know. And some people in my situation were kicked out of their homes. I'm sure if I was living with one particular relative of mine, he or she would have kicked me out of his or her house. My mom kept me, took care of me, took care of my child, and now I have a beautiful 14-year-old who looks like a sister, you know. So I'm just glad I had a good support system. Um, for me, I have nothing against abortion. It's your life, it's your choice, it's your body, it's your choice. So long as it is done properly in the hospital, I have no, I have nothing against abortion. Um, I feel that there are a lot of abortion clinics that you could go to here in Ghana that provide even counseling sessions. I know PPAG, Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana, have a hospital like that. You have to go through counseling before they, if you want to have an abortion, you do. I stand to be corrected though, but when I was in the University of Ghana and I was part of that team, I was made aware of that. So if you want to have an abortion, there are so many hospitals, good hospitals that are prepared to help you have an abortion. If you want to have your baby, I really pray and hope that your family supports you as much as my family supported me and help you become bigger and better of a person than you are, because this fight that you have in your life is going to make you a better person. Trust me. Coming from somebody who has been a teen mom, which is me, um, I think you should do your research. I feel like if I was taught these things, I don't think I would have had a child because I would have known these things at my fingertips. Um, you should know about your condoms, contraceptives, emergency pills, all these things. You should know about them. Walk into any family, public health hospital, they'll talk to you about it. I know University of Ghana has a public health section, and if you want to have a conversation about that, the nurses they'll be more than willing to talk to you about it. I think this is something that probably in the future I would want to do more on, which is um, creating an avenue for young girls to be able to walk into hospitals free of charge, to be able to talk to people, health professionals about sex and what to expect, and basically have advice, because sometimes you don't really think of doing it, but you find yourself in that situation, you know, and when that happens, before you can say Jack, it's already too late. I didn't have any friends because of this. My family deserted me because of this. I only had my mom and my siblings and my little girl at that point. And I didn't even know that I had that a situation like that could lead me into that, you know? Oh, yeah. Being a teen mom has taught me so many things. It has made me this feisty, fierce woman that I am. And I love that about me. I love the fact that the situation has made me a strong woman, because I used to be really soft. And this situation just changed me completely. Completely. And I wish I had certain people close to me or certain people tell me it's gonna be okay. But I didn't have it, but it doesn't mean that I should keep on dwelling on it. Does it hurt? Yes. But I'm just grateful that I had my mom and my brothers and my grandpa. I had Jazzy, and I don't regret it. I had the chance to abort if I wanted to. My mom thinks it was her choice for me to give birth, but she doesn't know that it was my choice, because at that point, I could have had an abortion if I wanted to. I could have. but I wanted her. I think the moment that confirmed was when she kicked one time. That was when I knew that I was going to do this. And fast forward, when I was looking for partners, or when I felt I was old enough and I could start to date again, I always made sure that I had people who, or I dated people who would love my daughter because she's part of me, you know? One of them said he wants to marry me and I'll have to leave my daughter with my mother. Well, my answer was no. So I showed him the door. And my husband came. You should see the two of them together. I think one time I'll do a video about faith and I'll talk to you about some of the things that I've been through and how God moved me. Because I am there and I feel like so many things that I have, I don't deserve. Ha! I don't deserve. But God did his things. My creator did his things. Because when this family member stopped talking to me, it was just my mom and my siblings and my grandpa. And then my grandpa passed. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna spoil my makeup. This is life. I thank God that me having hair didn't end my life. I was still able to go to school, go to university, finish with a fantastic class. I'm glad that it built my self-esteem, it built my confidence, it made me more responsible. Would I tell any teenager to have a baby? No, I wouldn't. If you're pregnant right now watching this video, think long and hard about it. If you're not pregnant whilst watching this video, think long and hard about it. Because it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not everything that I can talk about over here. But this nutshell is my truth. It is my truth. And I bless God for giving me a child like her. Because she's everything I'm not in perfection. Everything I'm not. And I'm not saying this story to look for sympathy. No, I'm not. Honestly, right now I'm okay. I'm just telling you the story to let you know that things happen, but it's up to you to decide whether you will still be on the floor or you get up and face it. Things happen and you change its plans, but it doesn't mean that you can't move around it. There is always a way to move around it. Always. And so today, this video, my energy is just so sad right now. It is what it is. So I dedicate this video to all teen moms. If you're already pregnant, congratulations. I really hope your family supports you like the way mine did. If you're a teen, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, even 18. I know from our part of the world, our parents don't really talk to us about sex and how you can get pregnant. So I'm here to tell you, if the guy says he's brushing, you can get pregnant. If you don't use a condom, you can get pregnant. If you don't use contraceptive, you can get pregnant. Emergency contraceptive. Just go to the pharmacy, say you want to buy an emergency contraceptive. You must take it within 72 hours of sex. If you don't, you'll get pregnant. If you've been raped, go to the hospital straight away for them to take all the things they need to take. Take that stuff, go to the police station, report it. Don't take a bath first. Go to the hospital directly, then you go to the police station. If you take a bath, you will spoil the evidence. Do that. And make sure they give you shots to make sure that you don't get pregnant. If you're already a teen mom and you're watching me, I know how it is. I've been there, I've lived it. And I know it's not easy. Sometimes people come into your life and even start to call you names like born one, born two. Don't let that be a problem. Tell them First Lady says it's not a problem. But you having a child is not a life sentence. And that you can make something out of your life today if you want to. Tell them that this is the beginning of greatness. For because you have this child, you have something or someone looking at you to make sure that you don't go astray again, to make sure that you move forward, to make sure that you take big steps. And I don't know about you, but when I got pregnant, God started blessing me. And maybe the whole thing about God taking care of children is true. I don't know, maybe it is. Because I've seen God's hand in my life, especially when I had my child. So if you have a baby, don't think you can't go back to school. You can't go back to school. If you want to learn a trade, learn a trade. Make sure that you get your life in the right order. Don't let any man come into your life if he's not willing to accept your child. Don't think that you are not worth it. Don't think that you are not important because you have a child. Don't think that because they are calling you born one, your life is over. I have 2 degrees. You can have 3. You can have 4. Heck, you can have a PhD even after having a baby as a teen mom. So don't let anybody look down upon you. Don't allow anybody look down upon you. Build your self-confidence. Build self-love. And when that is done, anyone coming into your life would have to respect you because you've earned it. I have done this video and I made sure not to cry. You people are not going to find me crying. I'm sorry. I really wish you well, and don't forget to just write me on any of my social media, First Lady Vanessa, on across all social medias, in case you need me to advise you on something. This is my time, guys. It's time for me to go. I'm glad I didn't cry in this video. I had to keep on pausing to go and clean my face and come back because I don't want you people to see me crying, because I'm a bad bitch, you know. I started this channel just to be able to rant and talk about random stuff. I still don't know my niche yet, but we're still gonna be playing around till we find our niche. Well, I think the video is done. It's been time with First Lady, and it's bye for now.